More on that story, we're joined on the line by our reporter Nozintombi Miya, who is in Standerton at the moment. Nozintombi, are there any developments? Do we know anything more tonight?
Well, a very good evening to you, Francis. We are definitely here at the Sakhile Township, and the situation here is extremely tense. The police have blocked off the main road leading into the township, as it is extremely unsafe for passerbys and for motorists, as the community members, some community members are still throwing stones at passing by cars. So the situation is extremely tense, and the roads along that main road leading up to Sakhile Township have been blocked off by burning rubber tires and by rocks. And the community here is adamant, and they're saying they are going to shut down the area up until police give them a reason as to what happened with the shooting of the 16-year-old boy, and up until the issue of the electricity situation of load shedding has been resolved in the area.
All right, so the protests continue. Do we know where the family of this teenager is, what he was doing in the vicinity earlier when he was shot and killed?
Well, information is still quite sketchy about what the 16-year-old boy was doing in the area. We did speak to his grandmother, a family member, and she was quite inconsolable about this development, and she wants answers, and she wants to know what exactly happened, how it was that police ended up shooting her little boy in the head. And what is happening right now is that the grandmother's area, where she's staying in the town, in the local, township there, and it's a little bit difficult to navigate to get in because the roads have been blocked off. But they are going to be holding some sort of a vigil to try and find out what exactly it is that's been happening in that particular area. So the situation really is quite tense, and the tempers are quite high, and the community is very unhappy and very unsettled about what it is that's going on. So in terms of the situation being sketchy about the little boy, it seems as if he was one of the group of protesters that had started gathering in the morning at 4 a.m. to block off the roads. And it seems he got into an altercation with the police, who were shooting back at the protesters to try and move them away from that main area.
And are we certain that the fatal shot came from a policeman or woman's gun? Are the police talking?
The police have kept quite mum. They're very quiet about this. And when we did speak to the police earlier, they're saying that they've given over all the police dockets to IPID. IPID is currently going to be conducting a post-mortem on the body of the 14-year-old boy to ascertain exactly what the cause of death was. And once that post-mortem has been released to IPID, IPID will then be able to give us clarity as to exactly whether the young boy was a casualty of police shooting with ammunition, that the police used rubber bullets. So the post-mortem will be able to give us clarity about what exactly was the young boy's death and what kind of weapon was used for him to end up being dead.
Nozintombi, the line's not great, but a quick final question. You've seen a lot of protests. We saw what happened across the country with Freeze Must Fall, Marikana, and we know that the police have a whole range of tools, rubber bullets, tear gas, things like that, water cannons as well. So using ammunition, live ammunition, if it's found to be true, would be highly, highly irregular, right?
It really will be quite highly irregular, especially when we look at the issue of what happened in Marikana, where the police ended up shooting with live ammunition. And we go back to the issue of the Farnham report, where the Farnham report had said that the police do not, in South Africa, they do not know how to deal with public order policing. And they need to be trained on how to use the weaponry or the tools available to them. They're supposed to use water tankers. They're use rubber bullets. They're supposed to use tear gas, but not just use them willy-nilly. They're supposed to use them there's a very correct and specific manner in which they're supposed to be using this weaponry. And our police, specifically the police that deal with public order policing, need to learn to be retrained on how to deal with protests, with service delivery protests, with peaceful marchers. They need to be retrained on when the situation does get extremely violent or they're faced with a community coming towards them, how do they deal with the matter instead of panicking and using live ammunition, try and stop the protesters from coming to them? Because at the end of the day, the protesters are protesting about genuine issues. It's not that they are fighting with the police. They're protesting genuine issues, and they want their voices to be heard. For police to shoot at them with live ammunition doesn't solve the situation. In fact, it exacerbates the situation because now it creates casualties.
All right, thank you very much. Nozintombi Miya reporting from that township in Standerton in Mpumalanga. And yes, investigations needed. This is after our breaking story earlier today that a 16-year-old boy was shot and killed during that protest action.